welcome back, my friends and family out there. Welcome back, Liverpool. Hopefully that's not a cold. Dude. I hope that's not a cold. I know it is cold in temperature in Liverpool, in England in general, but I hope that you're not coming down for cold. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, not too bad. It is freezing today. Just got the heat knob full as the one.
Yeah. It's a cold one here too, I guess. But I mean, I'm not going to complain. The sun is out. It will get warmer here where I'm staying, so I am not going to complain. I'm sure those that are watching snow fall or the likes aren't going to necessarily want to hear my gripes about the weather. So I'll let it be. But shout out to all the people that are joining us currently. A bunch of comments in here before we even start the show from Abdul and the Hash, Eric, all weighing in, Lone Sheep weighing in on the conversation already, getting it started. Obviously. So maybe they read the description of what we got in the show, lined up for the show. But I'll say it like this, another weekend, another draw. I mean, it's starting to become that's just becoming our nature is another weekend, another draw, right? And another set of uncomfortable truths about where the season is heading. Liverpool controlled that Burnley game. I'm not going to say they didn't. We outplayed Burnley for the most part. At times, not so much. They camped in. Burnley camped in their own half for a good majority of the game, and we were all expecting that, But at the end of the day, they walked away with what they were looking for, which was a result. To get a draw, at best, probably was a top priority. Obviously, a win would have been a priority for both teams, but I think that if the difference is, if you had said Liverpool are coming away with a draw, you would have had people saying that's a disappointment, that's a loss in a sense, in one way or another. It's almost like a loss. But for a Burnley team, that's almost equal to a win in their books, considering they're at the bottom of the table. And at Anfield against a regulation team, that's not bad luck. That could be considered a problem. So we've heard Arne Slot talk about development. We've seen flashes of brilliance from Florian Wirtz, Jeremie Frimpong. Even Milos Kerkez has really shown up and turned up his play lately. But flashes don't win titles, and they don't save seasons either. So we've heard what I have to say. Now it's also to hear what you have to say in the chat, as well as our panel member here, the Scouse in the house, right? Yeah. So it's, can we win something? It's the big question. Can we win something this year?
The only one I feel comfortable saying we have a chance in at this point is the FA Cup. Now, going back a few weeks, you might remember me saying this. I've been saying it for ages. Liverpool are the type of club could win the Champions League anytime as long as they're in it. They just got to, get themselves in the groove and all that. Maybe have a bit of luck as well, but I can't see that this season now. I don't think we're good enough. I think if we get through to the knockout phase, it's going to be tough to get past a good opponent. Mm-hmm. So I think the FA Cup might be our best hope. I hate having to say that about the Champions League because I thought we would have a real shot at it this season. But the way we're playing hasn't got any better, really, and it's not far away from the knockout stages now. So I'm looking more at the FA Cup if we're going to win something. I'd like to go as far as we can in the Champions League and finish as high as we can in the league. But with Arne in charge and the way we're playing at the moment, I just can't see it. So it would be the FA Cup for me.
Okay. Big shout out to Red Armchair Supporter. Abdul says no trophies this season. Red Armchair Supporter says it's new signings. If the new signings are finding form, if the existing players can pick up their form, we might turn things around. But yeah, it's a big if. Would you say we're building something, or are we just patching over holes? That's the basic question.
I'd say we're building something for sure, but
Oh,
it's
you
going
think
to
we're
take
building
time.
something? What are we building?
Well, a
Since you said
new,
it.
more possession-based team is what Arnie's trying to build, but make us, have cutting edge as well. That's where he's hopefully heading for with his end plan. Whether he'll be here to see it come to fruition is another matter. But we are building towards something. It's just taking time. It very much is a transitional season. And none of us thought it was going to be that really after winning the title. We thought the additions were going to help us, have a real good shot at retaining the league. But it just doesn't look that way now, does it? We're miles off Arsenal. Way too far off Arsenal now. So, yeah, it is. It's one of those transitional seasons, and we just got to put up with it and, support the team, support the manager while he's still the manager, whatever you think of him, whether you want him to leave or go. We've still got to win the games, put ourselves in a good position for next season. But it's a season of transition, isn't it? Getting the new guys to fit in.
So what you're saying is we are building on. What exactly are we building on, though? What is it that you think that we are exactly building on, though?
The Klopp years, the title succession.
Honestly, you think that? No, I'm going to ask you again because I know I want to hear your complete articulation of it, but I would, when you said the Klopp years, I think if anything, we're doing nothing but the opposite.
No, but I don't mean in terms of style of play. We're past that now, but we're building on the foundations that he laid, that Jurgen laid. That's what we're building on top of now. We're trying to build on top of that. And we've moved away from the way we were playing under him, haven't we? And the longer Arnie's been manager, the further away from it we've got.
So then that's why I question if we are building on the foundations of what, like, as if I think if anything, we are taking a sledgehammer to the foundations, if anything, and kind of going a different direction with the style of that the team is trying to orchestrate, this whole possession and lack of a presence, or the identity and definition of what Liverpool has always, not always, but certainly been as of the past decade or two.
In the style of play, in terms of the style of play, you're right that we do appear to have took a sledgehammer to that particular wall and knocked so many holes in it that fell through. But I only meant we're building on what Klopp built, what Klopp put here, in the sense that this is what comes straight after. That was the foundations we were working on, and was from what he left us, and it was good enough to get us the league last season. And now things are a bit different, but that's what we're building on top of. Just because we're building on top of it doesn't mean it's going to look anything like what was there before. And the basis, that the foundations that were there, they're the foundations we were building from. But obviously we've moved away from the Jurgen style of doing things now, and it's very much the Arne Slot era, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is. Lone Sheep says he somewhat disagrees. He thinks we've destroyed what Klopp has built. Jimmy says the players have the ability to change things around, but the style of play has to change. Slot ball isn't working. He needs to change it up, and if he won't, well, we are in trouble. Abdul thinks watching Liverpool play is rubbish. And Norm is saying, to be honest, 12, I'm just as angry with Hughes as others are with Slot. Well, we're going to bring that up also. We're going to bring that up. Hughes and Edwards as well. I'll have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation about that tomorrow. I was already telling Lee about how tomorrow's show is full of contract talk and a little bit of more venom. Today is MLK Day here, so I'm trying to keep the peace, trying to stay uplifting. Talk about dreams rather than talk about nightmares. Let's see. The Elliott situation doesn't make any sense to Norm. Hashin Farsi says, I've said we have no identity whatsoever. These are all valid points, by the way, as usual. The chat's making all very, very valid points.
No, we are sort of without an identity at the moment, a little bit like the Invisible Man, H.G. Wells' Invisible Man. Nobody knows who he is.
Right. Red Arm Transport says, poor Elliott, and to think he moved for more game time. I agree. I have a op-ed that I wanted to put out about Emery's statements, about vaguely speaking about Elliott, but I do have a piece ready for that as well. Chat is like it's like my editorial board. I love it. They already understand what's the hot topics. Lone Sheep says the foundation was there last season. Everything from our identity to our approach when it comes to signing players. The general ethos of the club is not the same. He believes Slot wants us to be PSG. Lone Sheep, that is a valid point. That is, I think, very much so. I think that there was two teams that got under Arne Slot's skin last year. It was Nottingham Forest and PSG.
And now you move it on 12 months, and the teams that have got under his skin are teams like Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brentford.
There you go. Know what I mean? Say the Premier League, basically. Yep. Yeah. Manchester United. You can say Manchester United. That's how bad this year is.
Exactly.
There's no way we should have lost to Manchester United. No way.
Yeah. Lord alone knows how we're still in fourth place, considering the crap form we're in. But we are at this juncture. We've just got to stay in fourth place, mate. We've got to make sure we stay there, or at the very least, finish fifth in a league where fifth will get you Champions League, which I think we will get that this season, the fifth place, which gives us that extra little bit of cover to make sure we get in there. But if we miss out on Champions League, I couldn't put up with watching the Europa League again. Now, when we were in it under Klopp in his last season, right? I didn't mind the Europa League then, but it's got even worse in the last couple of years because none of the Champions League teams fall through with the extended Champions League. It's an even worse competition. Look at last season's final. Man United and Spurs finished 15th and 16th in the Premier League.
Spot on.
15th and 16th, mate, and they made up the final. It's a shit competition now.
The only thing I was interested in the Europa League, or primary thing I was interested in the Europa League when we were in it with Klopp, was that would have gave him the full dining set. The full dining set, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the full set, everything. Yeah, I would have loved that, to have been able to have had the full set. Because I used to really value it and love it. It was a great competition. It was one that was always billed as being as hard to win as the European Cup, the UEFA Cup. Because obviously in the old days, champions, when we went in the UEFA Cup, second, third, went into the UEFA instead of the European Cup. Then it turned into the Europa League and the Champions League started getting bigger. Now it's got even bigger. What they've done is they've sort of binned it off in favour of having the Champions League being massive and the Europa League being virtually nothing. And that's to the detriment of the European, just the idea of European football to me.
Yeah. Europa was the thing, though. There was a time when the Europa League was the ultimate of competitions.
Yeah, it used to be great. I used to love it when it was the UEFA Cup. It was a hell of a competition. And we have obviously won more of them than anyone else in England, just like the Champions League. It just sort of divides every one of that. Chelsea have got 2, so they're the only ones that they're coming up on our heels with their 2. United won their first one under Mourinho, didn't they? Their first UEFA Cup / Europa League. So we are still the big boys in terms of winning the bloody competition. It's just that it doesn't have a lot of value anymore, and it'd be horrible to be in it next season, and we'd lose a lot of revenue. It would be horrible for FSG. I mean, I can only imagine the anger that FSG will feel if we miss out on the Champions League. And it'll certainly be the last thing Arne ever does for Liverpool if he doesn't get us into the Champions League.
Hashashin says Edwards wants to change us altogether. Let's see. I'm just going by what the chat's bringing into the conversation. The Lone Sheep says the Europa League is good to bring young players in, but Slot doesn't value young players. When you spend as much as we did, Europa League is out of the question. So it's a valid point. A valid point. Marseille will expose us Wednesday. We'll see about that. We will certainly see about that, Abdul. If we get 3 points at Marseille, it would be a humongous accomplishment for us. And that's sad to say because we shouldn't be in that position, but it is the truth. It will be a humongous accomplishment. What do you think of Slot's comments on the booze? I have actually, that is a segment in this show. It's going to be a little bit further down in the conversation, but I do have a comment on that. I'm just going to hold off, Hash, on bringing that up. I do have a statement, though. And Norm, did they not expect him to last or something? I don't know. Okay, you guys are talking about basically what we all are thinking. And I guess let's just transition real quickly to start where Arne Slot himself went after the game. Not necessarily about the booze, but about what it meant with the connection to the players and what the players he felt were most let down by the result. He had 3 players that he put out there in the interview. And it was very interesting to see the players that he chose to include in the conversation. And let me bring this up too so people know who is with us today. Big up, JK in the house.
How you doing, bro? Hope you're cool, Lee, as well.
Hi, Jay. Good to see the Dragon avatar back. Love that
Yeah.
It's cool as anything. I love that.
Year of the Dragon. There you go.
Year of the Dragon, bro.
It is. I mean, this, you know, it is what it is. I think that's like. I'm not going to get into all that. We'll be talking astrological stuff for like 20 minutes. Let us continue with what we got to say, which is, look, Arne Slot was clearly frustrated after the Burnley game. Not with just the result, but with the way good performances are being buried under bad outcomes. He singled out Frimpong, singled out Wirtz, and he singled out Kerkez as players whose development isn't getting the credit it deserves because Liverpool aren't winning enough. And you can see his point. I can see what he's saying. I know the meme still exists and everything else about Wirtz and about not many about Frimpong and Kerkez per se, but you know the conversation is still being lavished over. And Wirtz is carrying this team creativity wise now, right now. I think 4 goals in the last 6 games. I would say he's been man of the match in the past 5 games, probably. Always trying to break lines, always looking forward, always trying to make something happen when others are looking hesitant. Frimpong, after a shaky start to the season, obviously got hurt, but looked sharper, fitter, more decisive. His finish against Barnsley wasn't just good, it was ruthless. Let me say that again, ruthless. That's the Frimpong we want to see. And then Kerkez. I've been critical of Kerkez early in the season. I thought we should have gone a different direction in implementing him into the team. You know, again, it's another open, constructive criticism of Arne Slot's tactics of bringing in players. But He's finally starting to look like a 40 million pound left back, which is what we paid for him. He's calm on the ball. He's braver going forward, and crucially, he handled Saka at the Emirates like we all saw, better than most fullbacks in the league. And you could tell his teammates are starting to trust him a little bit more. These three really look like what we thought the signings would be currently. It took time for them to develop to this point, but it's definitely been there. I'm going to ask the panel this question. Are Wirtz, Frimpong, and Kerkez proof that Slot's system is actually working? Or are they just bright spots in a struggling season? I'll ask that to JK since he's joining us first.
Yeah, first of all, quickly just say hello to Red Armchair, bless up, bro. Norman, as always, Jimmy, Eric. Good to see Hash as well, bro, and Known Cheap. So that's cool. For me, bro, them three guys you mentioned are the three signings who all never hit the ground running. And now in the last month or so have been probably our best players. Big up respect to Kerkez. I really like Kerkez's energy. I've never dissed Kerkez. I've always said I love his energy. He's going to hit. It'll be cool one day. So it's good to see that. Wirtz, top player, bro. I had no worries about him. And for me, Frimpong, he's kept fit now. Mm-hmm. He had a bit of issues with his fitness at the start, but now he's been sort of hitting the ground running as well. So when you look at football, bro, all our signings have been sound now. But Isaac actually scored before he got injured. So all our signings have been sound.
Mm-hmm. They have, haven't they? Really, like a couple of them took their time to get going. I'm pleased to see him Frimpong now because he gives us something different. He gives us that raw pace and getting to the line. You know, he'll either put it in first time or he'll cut back onto his left and whip one in. And it's very dangerous, like, and I'm made up to see him now. Kerkez has been playing better in recent weeks. Like, I think everyone agreed, even when he was struggling at the beginning and getting silly cards and that and not playing that well, everyone agreed that in the end he'd settle in and be a good player. He's, I think pugnacious would be a good word. He's quite a short fella, isn't he? But he's full of like aggression in the right way and attitude, like in that, you know, the will to win and all that. Like, so he's our little honey badger at left back, isn't he? Pugnacious little fellow.
So
he gets stuck in, doesn't he? He's not scared. He gets stuck in all the time, and I love that about players. Just what I'd like is for him to not pick up as many silly yellows. But I did feel dead sorry for him against Burnley. That yellow he got, you know, when he was in their bloody box. Remember, he got a yellow. He slid. He had the ball, and it
he
went
did get to the ball. By the way, he did get to the ball.
He did, yeah. I thought that was a bit harsh, that yellow, but you get them for that these days. And then you're always on a bit of a tightrope if he's going to do another one. So in the future, I'd like him to try and erase that from his makeup. But
that was asked earlier, or not earlier, yesterday, because I know Nolante was asking what was the point of bringing Robbo on for Kerkez towards the end of the game. And I was like, I think primarily it was because Kerkez was on a yellow card, and you know the last thing we wanted to do was see some silly foul or something.
Yeah.
Them trying to attack us one time and him getting a silly foul.
Second yellow.
And then,
but you know what I love? Look, when Wirtz scored the other day, look at Kerkez's goal celebration, bro. He's 100% that lad. Trust me, his energy is whoa.
Yeah, I always look to the celebrations, and you can see how much they're all into it. Like, and they're all happy for each other. You know, when another player scores, they all like it. You know, I always look at that, don't you? Like, I mean, suppose everybody does, but yeah, I mean, there still seems to be a good spirit within the squad. They just seem to be lacking in a little bit of direction, more than motivation. They're lacking a bit in direction. Because we do look nervous still in games when we shouldn't. And it's just a hangover from the way we started the season. We haven't really been able to right ourselves since the season started. Even though we started with a load of wins, we weren't playing that well. and we only just about got them wins. You know, we let Bournemouth back into, we were 2-0 up on the opening day, weren't we, against Bournemouth, and they come back to 2-2. And then we rescued it at the end. Then again against Newcastle. So the season started like that, and we still haven't righted it yet. Like, we just haven't found our confidence again. We're lacking our confidence and our, you know, just a little bit direction, I think. Like, you know.
Yeah, for me, bro, like when I look at the Arsenal game, we were lacking in Isaac Ekatike in that game. You know, that's all it is. I think when you say what's our problem, we're lacking that killer touch where we just see off teams. Like in that Burnley game, bro, it's probably the best we played all season. Like we were in total control of that game. Look how many chances we created, how many shots, all that. It was all us. Burnley did nothing. They had that one chance, bang, and they made it 1-1. So it was good to see that we sort of put the foot down against Burnley. It weren't first gear, second gear. It was a more like third gear, fourth gear football in that game. We still should have wrapped it up, bro. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still Burnley. Let's just be honest. No, all due respect, it is still Burnley, meaning like we should still do better against a team of that nature that is fighting relegation. That's just a plain and honest truth. And then again, that's not to say that, you know, I don't have anything. Yeah, go ahead.
But you know what, bro? It could be the arrogance of the players, bro. Look, like against the big teams, we were doing well. Real Madrid, Arsenal, we beat them. And against the poorer teams, it's like the players don't put 100% in. You know? I think it's that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that either, Lone Sheep, seeing Mo as maybe a second striker, keeping maybe Frimpong forward. But again, the difficult portion about that is that now that we're injured at that position with Bradley, and now that we've had those damning comments, as a lot of people have noted, about Ramsey, I don't think we're going to see much more of Frimpong necessarily starting as a right back, a right winger for us, as opposed to a right back. He'll probably be our first choice right back going forward. But all right, well, there is still a problem, I think, with this manager for a lot of people. What this really tells us is that Liverpool's issue isn't talent. I'll go as far as to say it that way. Our issue isn't talent, it's cohesion. You can see individual progress. We've just noted about the progress of players that we've recognized and properly given their accolades for, but collective stagnation is what we're seeing a lot of. Wirtz shines, but too often he's isolated. Or Frimpong attacks well, but Liverpool still struggle to capitalize on the passes or on the opportunities. Kerkez is growing in opportunity or potential, and the defense still has a momentary switch off mode where, you know, all of a sudden we get a goal scored on us off of. Again, it was weird because Burnley in that game only had one shot. That was their first shot of the game that they scored on. That's wild. That's wild. That's not development. That's inconsistency.
It's not the first time this season when we played Forest and lost 3-0. That was their first shot, their first goal. Before that, they hadn't had a shot.
Yeah. But that's still concerning. You still got to agree. That's still very concerning. Who would you say has been the most impressive this season so far? If you were to rate those three players, who would you say has been the most impressive for you? Has it been Wirtz? Has it been Frimpong? Or has it been Kerkez for you?
Bless up Helio and Lee Wiskett. Hope you're cool, guys.
Big up Jimmy. Big up Lee Wiskett.
Hi, everyone.
Cool, guys. Look, I think out of all the signings, Ekatike has been the top one. Not consistent, but getting goals, you know. Recently, it's been all three: Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez. I never had to worry about any of the signings, bro, and that's the truth. I never said, "Oh, why did we get him?" When you look at Frimpong's fee, it was 29 million. Come on, man, 29 million for an international right back who's won the league in Germany. His English is perfect. His English is probably better than some of the other players who were born in England. But so I've never had no worries about new signings, bro. I think that's one good thing about Liverpool Football Club. Konaté is probably the only one I could say he was real let down. Darwin Núñez popped up with goals, bro. You know, he did his shift, even though he won everyone's cup of tea. He did his part. He could have done more, of course. But in signings-wise, we never really get it wrong. So I think that's a good thing. That's why I've never really worried about this season. Because I know the quality we've got. Look at the game against Marseille. We've got Wirtz, Ekitike on the pitch, bro. Even Salah can pop in. So there's a lot of Gakpo's there as well. I think Gakpo and Salah sort of let us down this season. That's my biggest worry. Yeah. They're two major attacking players for our team last season. This season, not so.
I'll agree with Cody's consistency has been a little bit of an issue for me this season. That's all. I still think Cody is a good, talented player. I think he gives it all.
I think he's played all right.
I think he's all. I think if anything, Cody has completely, even without Arne Slot, Cody bought into the Liverpool mantra. He's bought into being a Red, and I think he's proud to be a Red, as opposed to some players. Not saying I'm not trying to put anyone out on blast, but what I'm saying is some players that are out there for clubs or other teams, or even this team, sometimes you can tell, they're playing for Liverpool, but they have other pursuits in mind. That's what I mean. Like they have other aspirations. Liverpool is where they play currently. It's not where they want to see themselves retiring, in a sense, or ending their career. And that's a big.
To be honest, with Frimpong, he has an immediate impact because he scored in the Palace game, didn't he? Was it the Charity Shield that he scored in?
I'm not sure. I don't think he did, bro.
He did score early in the season, didn't he, against somebody, as far as I remember. But anyway, he looked good immediately, but then got injured, then come back and got injured again, which held him back. But Hugo hit the ground running. Kerkez, he's got better over time, hasn't he? And Wirtz has got better over time. Out of all time, Hugo was the one who hit the ground running. If you count all the signings together, he was the one who hit the ground running and looked like he fitted in immediately. But all the others are doing it now. So we've just got to carry on with the rebuilds. I mean, rebuilds do take a time, and like I said, this is a transitional season now. But I would like us to make a move in January just to cover us until May, because we've got to go right till the end of May now with what we've got. And it's a gamble if we do that. A real gamble. It's a gamble we've took before as well, haven't we? The season when we ended up with no Virgil, no Joe, and no Joel. So I don't want us to do that again. I mean, I refuse to believe that just because they might be undecided about who's going to be managing the team next season, that they won't buy a player. Because if you're going to buy a player who's decent, you know what I mean, he'd be able to fit into probably any manager's team as a defender. But who knows, eh?
Yeah, who knows? I'm going to move to this next segment here because I saw this take, and it was a very interesting take about different things that we got from what was one of the most notable things you got from this past game? What was something that you saw in this game and your reaction was A or B or whatever, like as it was positive or negative? What was the one thing from this game that really turned you on or turned you off?
the slow, ponderous nature of the football at times. Yes, we had little spells where we looked okay, but it was a very dispiriting result / performance. I don't think I've been that annoyed or like disappointed in a single Liverpool result since Paris and since City beat Aston Villa late on that time, at the end of the 21-22 season, when City had that comeback and then we lost in Paris. I don't think I've felt a result that badly since then.
I'm going to pull up. Because I just saw something in the chat. Let's see what they are. Yeah, Marc Guehi's salary at Manchester City. This is something I brought up. I know a lot of people were very, very adamant about, what are Liverpool doing and why aren't they reacting by going out and getting Guehi and the likes and blah, 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 blah. I don't know about you, but I know our need is dramatic and definitely wanting right now for a center half to provide some real coverage, being that unfortunately Joe Gomez isn't exactly the most dependable person to have with his injury record. So despite the fact that I think he's a phenomenal center half, and I would love if he would just be able to stay healthy, I would be fine with just having Gomez as our center half, if not our starting center half. Let me state that too. But I'm going to say, because I did see Jimmy's comment, and we'll get right back to what it was about that really turned you on or off about this game. Marc Guehi's salary at Manchester City is reported to be over £300,000 per week.
That's crazy, though. It is crazy money, that, isn't it? For a centre-back coming into a team. I mean, maybe if he came in on lower and then was upgraded to that, but to come in on that sort of weekly wage is crazy. It's like Thingy said, it's all their oil money. When City come to play at Anfield, they don't arrive in a coach, they arrive on an oil slick. It comes down the East Lancs Road, this oil slick, and they surf in on it. No need for the coach, the oil slick.
Depending, I don't know what Silva's contract is going to be or look like, because he's getting a new contract as well. And these are from Fabrizio Romano. This is from Talk Sport and some other sports outlets out there that have reported this as being the case. He will be signed until 2031, which is a 5.5-year deal, obviously half year being January signature. And he is going to make $15.6 million a year. 15.6 million pounds, a year.
Do you know what?
I think Guehi, I was just going to say real quick, Lee, I think Guehi is a great player. He's a good player. Very, very talented player. He is by no means a 300,000-pound player. There is no way that Marc Guehi should be possibly the second, if not third highest paid player on your team. That is absolutely wild. And it goes to show you that most likely, and I've seen reports saying such, in the sense that Manchester City had to bend over backwards to try to convince him to be a part of their team. This is what it means. This is possibly portion of what it means to bend over backwards. And that is massively overpay for the player. More power to him, more power to his agent who got him the money, more power to all of them doing what they needed to do to bring in a very talented player. But let's be honest, there is going to be a weird logjam when it comes to center halves for Manchester City. I'm sure it's a problem they'll be welcome to have, but it also means that you're going to have to say to yourself, if Guehi doesn't start you're going to have now a 300,000 plus pound player on your bench. On your bench.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of injuries at the moment. Guardiola's injured. Diaz, I think, is also injured.
Oh,
That's why
I
their
know.
new signings are all coming.
But would you pay that kind of money for a virtual stopgap then? Because those players will get healthy again. Vardiol will come back and play. It's not like he's done forever, you know?
Yeah. Don't forget Kutsarnov. He cost a lot of money as well.
Yeah, he gets stuck in as well. For me, it was a Liverpool signing, bro. We needed a centre-back. So I'm really embarrassed. Maybe Liverpool were pissed off in the way it fell through. Hence why they don't want to deal with Palace again, maybe. That's what I feel. Could be a thing.
Yeah, I was pissed off when I heard it, but I accept it now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that City for you, City. You know, we spend a lot of money in the summer, but, you know, we're still not Man City. We cannot offer new signings, starting wages like 300,000. We just cannot afford that. And it'd be a bad precedent set, because once you do that, other players who might not be in the first team are going to say, well, he's getting 300,000 and he's not even in the team. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bad precedent to set. Like, so I'm glad that we're not paying wages like that. I just don't think City aren't paying wages like that for very long, and that they do get sanctioned eventually.
I'll have to read the article that their chat is referencing concerning about Paul Joyce's article on us banking on getting the 35 million. Look, I'm sure most of you, not all of you maybe, but most of you, myself included, would have thought that 10 games was a doable benchmark to see Elliott meet for Villa. I thought it was a doable mark that he could make 10 games, 10 appearances. But again, I have a whole, rant about that, about Emery's choice of words, about his own team, about the state of the league, about our own circumstances. I'll even mix in a little bit about Elliott in that rant that I have later on, not in this episode, but in a later episode. Liverpool can't compete with City financially. Hey, that's exactly why. That is exactly why PSR exists. One of the reasons why financial fair play existed before that. If you think Liverpool can't compete with City, there's technically only one team in this league that can compete with City, and that's Newcastle. And because of the restraints of PSR, Newcastle isn't able to flex their might, their financial might, or financial might, simply because of PSR. If that was PSR didn't exist and financial fair play before that, if that didn't exist, we would have two teams sitting on top of the league buying every player.
Oh yeah, the Newcastle fella's far richer than Sheikh Mansour, apparently, isn't he?
Yeah,
Makes
like
Sheikh Mansour look like a beggar. The Newcastle owner.
Yeah, that's how much money they have, and yet they struggle to compete. They struggle to hold on to talent. They struggle to bring in talent simply because of PSR. That's why you see those rants by True Geordie, on the kickoff or his publication. I don't think he really does many publications or episodes really on YouTube too much anymore. But it's why you see him go off about how he wishes that the league his team was able to do what City was able to get away with, quote unquote, until these recent charges and the recent crackdown on holding teams accountable to keeping to the rules. But it's a real question. It's a real question. Let's see. I was going to pull up something here for all of us to look at.
It just makes me laugh how Palace are already to do business 6 months later. You know what I mean? What a joke.
Bun Palace, dude.
Yeah, I'll never like Palace anyway.
Bun Glasner, excuse me. He's all ready to walk out the door. He's all ready to walk out the door if Guehi didn't stay, apparently.
Yeah.
And now
40 million changes his mind, isn't it?
Yeah. And then a few months later, a few months later, the headlines are Glasner set to leave at the end of this season. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Bun those guys. Bun Palace, Bun Glasner. No love for any of those.
Every team, bro. You know, back in the days, you might have a soft spot for a team and this, that, and the other. No.
Mm-hmm.
Football is dog eat dog now.
It is.
Look, I've said before that Arsenal look like champions to me this season. They did months ago to me. And there is a large part of me that will laugh heartily if City miss out after buying Semenyo and Guehi and trying their best to buy the title back this January. Because they spent a load last January to save this season. This season they're trying to win the league by bringing a couple of key players in. And if they fail, I'll laugh my head off and won't care one bit. Really.
I have a question for you, Lee, and for JK, and for the chat especially. This is for the chat especially. Let's say, hypothetically, Palace decides to take our bid. All right, they accept our bid, hypothetically, for Guehi. Would you have been comfortable making Guehi the third highest paid player on our team?
Not before Wirtz, bro. Never.
Again, let me. Okay, so that's a no from you. Okay, a no from JK.
No.
Lee, if for what it means, would you have been comfortable to have gotten that deal done if it meant that you had to make Guehi the third highest paid player on our team?
Not really, no. Coming in on a really big wage.
And can I make sure I make this point transparent? I don't want to. I know it's not your money. I know it's not that, Trudon. I understand that. We're going and broaden your horizons and just be honest. I know it's not your money, but put yourself in that perspective. Put yourself in that seat. As a realistic sporting director, owner, whatever you want to look at it as from, or even as a fan. I'm asking the chat too, because I see the chat's answering the question. I just want to make sure because I know I saw Trudon's answer. Honestly, don't care. It's not my personal money. We get that. None of this is technically, if you buy kits, if you buy tickets to the game, if you buy subscriptions to the streaming service, guess what? It is your money. So look at it from that perspective. If you're not spending a dime on this, on watching Liverpool or participating in supporting or watching Liverpool, that's one thing. But we all are invested in this one way or another, if you want to get down to it. We all are invested in it. Some of us, it's our time, it's our energy, it's our own, our own mental stability, some of us. But others, it's also what you spend in season tickets, in traveling expenses, in the streaming services that you use. All these different things are connected to supporting that club financially. Us having a presence, talking about this team, makes it more of a presence for the advertisers that pay money to Liverpool. And the reason why they do is because there's so many of us that support this club. So we all invest our money, our time, our hard spent energy into this team. So that's what I'm saying. Enough of my rant. And I wasn't trying to put Trudon on any. That wasn't like supposed to be looked at as be harsh or anything like that. I wasn't directed solely at Trudon. I was just saying, just so we get a perspective. This gets perspective. That's all.
Yeah, but I also agree with what Trudon's saying about when you're risking. Look, imagine we got a centre back in now. It's like guys can sleep easy, knowing we can go into any game, knowing we've got Guehi, Konaté, Gomez, and Virgil there. So if that cost us Champions League football for next season, I would have brought that Guehi in. And that's the thing, bro. You got to sort of sometimes I wouldn't really say gamble, like make a move like that just to secure something. You know, if we got a Guehi in, we would have been sound now. We could hit that second spot, third spot in the Premier League this season, no problem, with a centre back like that.
And I'm not disputing the fact that we could have utilized some more rotation and having some more depth to our center half position. I'm not doubting that at all. Oh, big up. Barnes is in the house. Big up. Beige and Reds TV. Big up. I was saying, hopefully Barnes, hopefully you got that. I sent you a clip on X. I know that Barnes is a big fan of Barnes, the football player. So that's why I sent him a clip of that. But all right. Anyways, back to what I'm saying. Look, I am trying to emphasize that I get what Hylor is saying here. He says, I don't think that's a fair question. If someone wants to pay someone big wages, of course you say yes. And there are always two parts in a deal, and there is always negotiations. But what I am saying is that Manchester City, we already had a deal that was agreed on. He was willing to come to our team, everything else. So that shows that he was for the project. That's what I'm trying to get across. And Manchester City now have a crisis at the center half position themselves. So therefore, they went out and they offered a wage to him. And thus, I'm sure, if like all good agents do, okay, being that I was one once myself, like guys, and I would say, as a good agent or representing your client, you would say, cool, thank you, Manchester City, £300,000 a week sounds fantastic. Hey, Liverpool, City just offered me £300,000 a week. Can you match it if you're interested in my player? Meaning, can you match it or go above, depending on how bad the player wants to go to your club or not? But I am only offering that question out there primarily. And I don't think I got the full answer from Lee, by the way. But I'm offering that question out there because on our team, Mohamed Salah makes £400,000 a week. Virgil van Dijk makes £350,000 a week. I'm going to be honest. If £300,000 over £300,000 a week is the number that Guehi wanted, I'd rather offer something, not $300,000, but I'd rather offer at least something higher than the $200,000 reportedly that we're offering to Konaté to make sure that he stays. Maybe you differ in that opinion out there. And I know some of you have moved on from Ibu, but yes, let me hear Lee's formulated answer to that question then as well. And if you want to, piggyback off of what I was just saying too, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I just think it was too much money, the wages for us to pay. We missed, really, it was the summer, wasn't it, where we missed out. We left it till late because we were taking care of signing all the other big names, and then we went to sign a centre half last, and we left it too late, and they couldn't get a replacement or didn't want to. But like, it's just something we got to deal with. Like, it was an awful lot of money what they're going to pay him, and it's a great deal for him. It's a great deal for the lad himself. So I mean, anyone would take it. Like, we just got to find alternatives or make do with what we've got now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he would be making more than Alexander Isak.
That's crazy.
He would make more than Florian. He would make £100,000 more than what Florian Wirtz currently makes.
Well, our two biggest earners are Virgil and Mo, but like they've worked their way up to that sum, haven't they? Like over the last 7-8 years, they didn't come in on a huge wage. When we found out how good they were and how key they were to our team, we started paying them more. To bring somebody in starting at that amount that's
It's just
the
a
thing
bad.
about it.
It's just a bad precedent to set, though, because if you bring in Guehi from the rip as your third highest player before he's ever even kicked the ball for your team, unless he is deemed as being generational or being one of the best, if not the top 3 in the league. So I know some people are going to be like, well, didn't you do that for Isak? I think Isak is considered top 3 or top 5 at least, but definitely top 3 center halves in the Premier League. I don't know if I would say Guehi is the top 3 center half, and he makes top 5, maybe top 10, certainly, but I don't know about top 3. I think there's obviously Virgil van Dijk, but I think there are other center halves that you probably would take before you took him.
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, other than Maguire. But that's the question, though. I know it's getting into the weeds a little bit, but I mean, Isak, 280,000. Cody, I know people are going to definitely go over the moon about, or not go over the moon, but go to hell and back over the fact that Cody Gakpo is our 4th highest paid player on this team. That's wild. But Cody Gakpo at 250,000. Then you have Florian Wirtz at 200, Ekitike at 200, Rabah 160, McAllister 150, Gravenberch 150, Chiesa 150, Ali 150, Dom 120, Frimpong 100.
Wow, Ali 150, bro. That's mad. All them years he's just been getting that. He should at least been 225 at least.
I think that 150,000 is still the especially with Ederson now no longer in the league. I think he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the league still, though. I think I would have to look that up. I'll look it up for you to confirm it. All right, so yes, he is. Ali is it goes Ali, it goes Martinez, who also owns 150,000. Then it goes
Donnarumma?
No. Donnarumma does not earn 150,000. According to this Google search I just did. Let me see if it oh, actually, you know what? Right now, because this one didn't have Donnarumma as the update. Donnarumma is the highest paid. I believe he is.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Donnarumma makes 13 million a year. Look, I don't know how Manchester City pays their pay. I'm not going to get sued in putting some of the reasoning why I think Manchester City is able to pay some of these absolutely outrageous salaries that they are. Let me see. I can just go to this because I have a resource actually for Manchester City, because Manchester City's wages are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're out of control. Yeah.
Erling Haaland makes £525,000 a week.
Mad.
Bernardo Silva makes £300,000 a week. Marmoush, he doesn't make $300,000. He makes £295,000 a week. A player they're trying to unload currently too, by the way.
Yeah.
John Stones, 250. Ruben Diaz, 250. Donnarumma makes 250,000.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
You add all them up into one wage bill, and it's huge, isn't it? It's like they're sticking a big finger up to the FFP people, a big middle finger.
Yeah.
No, I just want to go with what Julio was saying about City buying Guehi and paying them wages to secure. I think they're going to secure top 4 anyway. I think that gap between them and who's below us, United, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough for them to get Champions League. I just think they're just. They bought Semenyo and Guehi, and realistically, they were the two sort of signings we needed: a winger and a centre back. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think our outlay last summer might be so much so that we don't buy no one. And also with the Harvey Elliott thing, the waiting on that to come in and all that, that's a bit annoying just to hear that. Waiting around for 35 million. Hence, we got rid of
35 million is a lot of money, though. That is a good chunk of money. I'm not trying to give them reason, but that was. I understand people what they're saying. I understand what you're saying. I wanted to show you though. Everyone's talking about they can afford it. That is Manchester City's payroll, first team wages, basically, right there, right? You might say, "Oh my goodness, they're so rich. They're so rich." Well, you're correct. They are very, very wealthy. However, let me show you this. That's that, and this is Liverpool's. You see that they're making their bases around what it is and everything else. Blah blah blah. 243 million annual salary, about close to 6 million, right? 5.9 to be accurate, right? If you look at Liverpool's average annual salary is 5.4. They're behind them, I will admit, but having wages that are like £525,000 a week will certainly exacerbate that final number quite a bit when you're paying someone $500,000 a week. So.
Yeah, because remember the City fans would all go, "Oh, Haaland didn't even cost that much, the transfer fee." But when you put the whole deal together, his wages and his all that money he was given for signing on, it's like it was a huge deal, wasn't it?
I think the agent fee alone was astronomical for what they paid for him.
Yeah, crazy money.
Yeah. The point is, I know we're getting a little off topic, maybe, but the point is, there's a lot that can be said with the numbers and the likes, but Manchester City have a unique ability to spend money even when you would assume they shouldn't be able to, or assume how can they do so, considering the enormous.
Nothing stopped them, bro. Yeah. Like, where's all that talk? Man City, this, that, and the other, on that. They just bought Guehi and Semenyo, bro, in this window. It's all a joke, football, man. I thought them and Chelsea spent too much to couldn't really show it up and this, that, and the other. So nothing stopped them going out and getting Semenyo and Guehi. Realistically, bro, they should have been signed by us. That's my opinion. If we had Semenyo and Salah coming back into this team now, we'd be sorted for, I'd even say, Champions League, winning it.
Okay.
With Salah and Semenyo and Guehi coming into that team. Yeah.
Well, getting back to what we were talking about, the topic at hand more so, I thought that obviously Milos Kerkez was a major talking point for the game. I thought Florian Wirtz was a major talking point for the game. But some of the other points that maybe got missed out is, I think Curtis Jones, Rick James,
some singer.
Is Rick James' brother. Curtis James, yeah. I was about to say Rick James again. Rick
James' brother Curtis.
Yeah. Curtis Jones, I think, is staking a real claim to first team football.
I think he played pretty well against Burnley.
Mhm.
I think he's playing well. He's not playing poor now, if you know what I mean. He's playing good now. Every game, good, sound.
Mhm.
Not great, because I'm still waiting for him to get the ball and bang it from 30 yards, bro. Them sort of things. Has he got it in him to do that as a midfielder? He set up Wirtz the other day. He gave that ball to Ekatike to do that flick for Wirtz to score. So he's sort of he's more advantageous going forward now. So it's good.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think the two things that stood out for me in this game were the fact that Cujo is really making a presence, known that he wants to be a part of this club, meaning he wants to be a fixture in this club. And then also the fact that we have to figure out a way to break down low blocks, period. I don't know what it is about our team, but we saw Burnley sit deep. They crowded the box. They dared Liverpool to break them down. They gave them space. And yet, once again, Liverpool looked unsure of how to break down a low block. Too much recycling possession, not enough urgency between the lines, and far, far too few vertical runs to stretch the back five. That's not a personal issue. That is a coaching issue. That's not a personal issue. It is a coaching issue.
Yeah, but for me, bro, I feel in that Burnley game, we did enough to win it. Like the Brav guy, he made a lot of saves in that game. I feel when it comes to the game time, when you're on the pitch against a low block, that's got really nothing to do with the manager. Like for me, you've got to dribble past 2 or 3 players and score. That's how you get a low block. Dribble. You got to dribble, bro. And you got to do a pass like a Jones into Ekatike, into his feet, where he can do a little back heel or whatever. And you got to open teams up like that against low blocks, where dribbling is for me the best option. Why? You could get fouled, you could shoot and get a handball, you could whatever, but it's dangerous when you dribble it against a low block team, because what's going to happen is they're going to wait, because they think, oh, there's enough of us behind the ball to stop this guy, so I won't put my foot in now, and in that time you can shoot. So there's enough ways to beat a low block, bro, and there's enough guys in our team to shoot. So Szoboszlai, he's got a shot on him. Wirtz has got a shot on him to shoot from outside the box. And with Liverpool, we're the champions, so you expect to have majority of possession. What are you going to do with that possession? What are you going to do with that possession, bro? And that's down to the manager. It's like, what gear are you going to play football in?
Look, so you think that this was? Do you think that? Sorry to cut you. I was just going to say, do you think that this was more about Burnley defending well, or do you think this was just Liverpool lacking a cutting edge?
No. I think Burnley did a good job, bro. Defensively, I reckon they were sound. But saying that, they didn't stop us having a lot of chances to win that game 4-5-6-1. You know what I mean? So Gapco had a few shots, Wirtz, Ekatike, like everyone had a few tries to score. And McAllister, bro, when McAllister came on, he had 3 fucking shots. All of them over the bar and that. Yeah. Too rash. I said that the other day. Too rash when he came on the pitch. Slow down, bro. We got 15 minutes. I don't know. I can't remember what minute he came on the pitch, but he needs to chill out and shoot with a bit of calmness. That's why we didn't score there. You got to be calm when it's 1-1.
I guess in my opinion, what this game exposed is maybe tension. Maybe that's the reason why McAllister was wound up and shooting balls over the box or over the bar. Why you have, Dom hitting the bar with a penalty kick. Kerkez, on one hand, you have Kerkez, Wirtz, Frimpong, Jones, all clear individual progress. I think we can all agree on that. But on this other hand, the team still doesn't look as if it has a clear identity in possession against deep defenses. This is where I personally start to look at what's going on with the coaching direction and ask uncomfortable questions, some of which are just being constructive and also trying to find solutions for it, because I'm not just pointing the finger and saying, hey, this or that. I'm trying to find solutions. And the biggest question is, are we genuinely evolving? I asked Lee that question earlier. He thinks that we are building on the foundation that Jurgen Klopp left us. I personally think it's more of individual brilliance that is saving us rather than actual progress, personally. And it's just a real question of where we sit on one side of the fence or the other. It's one side of the fence.
Bless up Dara and Abdul as well in the chat. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, bro, football's a game where the will to win, very important in anything in life. It's like if you cook and you don't really want to cook, the food ain't going to taste as good as if you really wanted to cook. I've always say that. I hate unhappy cooks. So if you're unhappy, don't cook food for me, please. And football's the same, bro.
Okay.
If the players are happy, you'll get a good display. It's that will to win, bro. It's all about that. And like Wirtz is showing it now. Frimpong showing it. Kerkez has got it. There's no doubt in that. Mm. So Curtis is sort of showing it a little bit more. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. Enthusiasm. And that's what I feel Slot's downfall has been. He's not been able to get enthusiasm into the players onto the pitch. That's his downfall this season for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
The midfield is the engine room, isn't it? And last season we were good in midfields with Grav and Mac in the pivot and Dom just ahead of them, covering so much ground. But you know, it was a different time last season, different time, different place, different circumstances. Things have moved on, and see the key thing in midfield this season has been the absence of McAllister. Yes, he's been back and been playing, but he hasn't been at his peak, has he? And I'm wondering if he ever will get there this season. Like, is he going to go on like this the whole season? It has to be a nagging injury or something for me, because you know he loves the club. He loved winning the league last season. He wouldn't just like suddenly, lose his motivation. I think it's a mixture of sort of like missing pre-season and having some sort of nagging injury, a niggling injury, something that's causing him a bit of discomfort. Because that's been the main difference in midfield this season, the lack of Mac. The lack of Mac.
That's the show that is, bro. Lack of Mac.
Yeah.
But I just believe, bro, the injury he got, because he got stuck in so much last season and he triggered that injury, he's sort of half-hearted going into challenges like he used to, bro. McAllister, he's gritty, bro. He's an Argentinian gritty player, not the greatest player in the world, not the fastest, nothing. But he gets stuck in and he can bring that to the field, that bit of bullish sort of behaviour. He ain't done that this season, bro. Mm-hmm. He did it against Arsenal when Bradley got injured and they were messing around. He got sort of rampant in that argument there. And that's what we've lacked from him this season, that bite.
I would say out of all our players last season, he took the most crunching tackles from opponents. Yep. Some of them were simple.
Yep.
Even the season before that, remember that fella from Sheffield United who really got him? Bloody hell. But last season, the Tarkovsky thing, that was just an evil attempt to injure him. Badly.
I thought Macca was like our Rocky Balboa last year. I mean, he just, took some really, really bad hits, but just kept on pushing on. He was consistent in his presence being for us, I think, last year.
you can see the spice between him and Bruno Guimaraes, the Brazil-Argentina thing, which is such a rivalry that, it translates that way. Like, they love playing against each other, them two, don't
No, I
they?
agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, Liverpool right now are in a strange place. I will agree with all your assessments. I think the title race is all but over. It's essentially over. 14 points behind Arsenal is not something you claw back in this league. Let's be honest. That's something that's not objective.
It's over for us, isn't it? It's over for us, the title race. I would also propagate the notion that it's over for City at this point. I think Arsenal are nailed on to win it, mate, unless there's some sort of mega catastrophe for Arsenal in, like, the injury stakes or something. Nothing's going to stop Arteta getting his hands on that season, on that trophy this season. So I think it's gone for City as well at this point.
Yeah, City last few weeks, bro, dropping points like us. We're like same sort of form. Winning, drawing, like
They'll drop more as well. They'll drop more points towards the end of the season, even with Guehi and Semenyo coming in.
Yeah.
I don't mind because I'm sick of seeing them winning it anyway. Like, it doesn't faze me that much if Arsenal win their 14th league title. That's
That
still
hurts.
sick, less than us. You know what I mean? And Man United, so no sweat there. Like,
Yeah, if like other than United, but I don't really want Arsenal to win it. But if I had to choose between Arsenal and United, yeah, of course you're gonna pick Arsenal, aren't you? Peace up, Nems, as well in the chat. I hope you're cool, Brand.
Yeah, big up, Nems. Big up. But yeah, no. All I was trying to get at is the real objective has changed from trying to win a title to just trying to get in and secure a top four. That's what it comes down to get Champions League football for 26, 27. And that makes January absolutely critical. So far, I would say there's a yet so far, I would say even more so, that Liverpool have done nothing, almost nothing. We have brought in a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 19-year-old to our youth academy. I guess you could say that is something. A youth signing here, a minor loan, maybe move here or there, but that's not something that's going to move the needle. Our defense is still vulnerable. Our right back situation is a hot mess, and our center back depth is shaky. That is why the links to Nico Schlotterbeck make sense to me, and I am very, very bullish in seeing Schlotterbeck or a Van de Ven or even a Bastoni ultimately come to become a red in the end of either January window or if not the summer window. But 50 million pounds for Schlotterbeck is not cheap. He's an elite defender. We all get that. He is quick, aggressive, comfortable in possession, proven in high level European games. He does come with a little baggage when it comes to his injury record. I spoke on Bastoni as being another name. I know he's not a name that weighs a lot heavily with some in the chat, but I think that he is he is an improvement, I think personally, on Konaté, to be honest with you. I honestly do. I like Konaté. Not saying that's not a jab or a punch at Konaté. I just think that he is a better player. But Inter Milan won't sell him without a really high fee. So then the question becomes, does Liverpool treat this window like a chance to save the season, or do they treat it as just damage control? Should Liverpool spend big now or wait until the summer for you?
Well, between now and the end of February, we've got a game every 3 days, which we haven't had for a while, and that'll go on until the end of February. So there's a lot more games all of a sudden in a shorter period of time. And I don't know how this would work, but hopefully having more games, we'll be able to find better form. I don't know if we will, but I'm hoping that getting back to playing twice a week for a period will help us improve our form, because it's what we're used to, like, usually, isn't it? If we wouldn't have went out the League Cup, we'd have still had it more to a degree, but there's a lot of games coming up in a short period of time, so I just hope that he can get it sorted, starting with Marseille. I'm pleased to get back to Champions League action, like, just so we can have something different, like, for the game and see how we do. I can't see I can see it being a different type of. Obviously, it will be a very different type of game because we're away, and they'll know we're in bad form. So I'm expecting Marseille to, come at us, and that may help us. That we'll have a little bit more room to operate in. I mean, we managed to sneak that one against Inter, didn't we? We really limited Inter that night to one header. It was their main chance, the header from Lautaro. Just hoping we can get a performance like that at Marseille and snatch a win, because that'll really boost them.
Yeah, no doubt.
They won 5-2.
I don't think Marseille is as good of a team as Inter is, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I think the third in the league. They won 5-2 at the weekend away. Mm-hmm. Angers. Yeah. Greenwood's playing.
Yeah, he's having a good year too, by the way.
Yeah.
Is Schlotterbeck the right profile for you?
Same as Helio. Yes and no. He's okay. He's good. Let's just leave it as that. But I'm not sure Liverpool. But the way we're at right now, we need a centre back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I'm looking at a few centre backs, and I would like Schlotterbeck to be one of them, not just the only one. Because I think it'd be nice to have a left-sided guy to give Virgil a rest sometimes. But I mean, that wouldn't be till the summer, and it would be Virgil's last season next season anyway, wouldn't it? If he leaves after his contract's done. But he is one of the names I would like to see come in to replenish the centre-back position. There's, I would like other different types of, maybe like a Diamande or a Xhaka type coming in as well, with Schlotterbeck. Or Ordonez, who's a different player again.
I think Guehi would have been the perfect option. I think the wages put us off, innit?
The only thing with Marc was his height, wasn't it? Like, the teams he plays in a back three usually, and there's not as much onus on him to win headed balls. But in a back two, Joe used to be targeted occasionally for his lack of height when he partnered Virgil. I remember Mourinho done us up like a kipper at Old Trafford with bloody Lukaku getting a nod on, and we lost the game. But that's the only deficit really for Marc Guehi, is his lack of height, his lack of inches. But he's a cracking defender, and a lack of inches doesn't always matter with defenders. Murillo's not that tall, Tarkowski's not that tall. They still compete. But it can be targeted by opposition coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing that we could say is our defense is what it is. I get that. But because Arne Slot has taken a more conservative approach towards our games and has basically constrained us a little bit going forward, our offense has suffered, certainly. We're not that high of a scoring team in general. It's the reason why I think it is 26. I'm trying to think about it. I think City have 24 and Arsenal 26, or vice versa. But basically, both of those teams are 20 goal differential. They're all 20 points ahead of us. That says
France has always been one of the best markets to look for centre backs in. It's been so many success stories at centre back from the French, coming in from the French league. It continues to this day, right throughout the Premier League, from the top to the bottom. They don't all work, but in general, it's a good market to look in, the French market and the German market as well. Very much so.
I get that. I get it. And we also have a case where Chelsea, I think, are in for the French player that we were interested in as well. I think that they're trying to make a final play for JJ, the Jaquette.
The Swines. The uncouth bounders gagging in on our defender, trying to do a city on us, trying to cause us more pain. He's ours, hands off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's his call.
He's a good player. It would be interesting if we replaced the Frenchman with another Frenchman, wouldn't it? In terms of Ibu, likely even replaced him with Xhaka.
It would be very telling. I don't know if he's playing.
If he was that successful, and maybe we had to watch that.
Yeah. I was just going to just comment on the fact that, well, maybe the positive about it is we do have some returning, and that is our Egyptian king is returning, maybe with a little bit more fire in his belly to, do something with his club team that he couldn't possibly do with his national team. Mohamed Salah is still a Liverpool player. He is not most likely to be on the out, meaning at one point people were talking about maybe him, going off to Saudi Arabia, or maybe even to I've heard Chelsea, or even maybe Roma, to have him return to teams at a former glory. But at AFCON, he scored 4 goals and had 2 assists. Carried Egypt deep into the tournament, lost in the 3rd place game. But he does have, hopefully, a little bit more fire and some rest now in him, in that he didn't have as grueling of a schedule as he would have if he was partaking with Liverpool. So are you excited that Mohamed Salah is coming back to the team? Or are you kind of worried that maybe the problems from before reemerge, or you got to recognize the fact that we've been on this this unbeaten streak. I'm about to say win streak. I wish there was a win streak, but unbeaten streak. And Mohamed Salah wasn't exactly a very big factor if any at all.
Now I'm looking forward to him coming back. Hopefully, the rest has done him good, and he'll come back refreshed mentally, and he'll be able to get into his groove, because we're low on numbers at the moment, aren't we? We've been having to play cozy through the middle. So yeah, I'll be glad to see him back. I just hope things go all right. That discord that we're on between him and Arne, it won't be forgotten by either of them. But hopefully they're big enough to just put it behind them now and work together.
Mm-hmm.
For me, bro, I'm happy for him to come back, because when you look at our attacking options, bro, we only had Chiesa on the bench the other day against Burnley.
Yeah.
He was getting on. So, that's what I mean. I was really disappointed in the way football's become. Salah gave us the greatest season. Last season was just Salah at his best. Goals, assists, the whole shebang. Everyone was saying player of the season, this, that, and then all of a sudden this season he hasn't found his feet. Why? Because I think a lot of new signings coming in, it's just sort of been settled in maybe. And the other thing that happened with one of our players, and that can affect you as well. I don't care what anyone says. And I've seen comments going, that happened a long time ago, you should forget. Come on, man. The respect from some of the fans really annoyed me this season, in the way they're
trying to... what, though, Jay? It was always going to happen, because he's the star he is. Same with Virgil, when they drop off a little bit.
Yeah, it's annoying.
You really notice. And the bigger players were always going to take a lot of the shit for the state we were in. But players just have to put up with that, when it happens, being questioned. It's part of being a footballer. So I just hope everything goes okay, anyway, towards the end of the season, and that he can provide some goals and assists for us, because we really need them.
Yeah.
We need him to just come on or start games
and
be a team player.
Yeah, I don't want a situation where, if this is his last season here, that it's no good and he's not enjoying himself. I want his last few months to be a good few months for him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But a lot of that's on Slot as well, to get the best out of him, to have us playing in a way that helps Mo. Do you know what I mean? It's not just down to him; it's down to Arnie to get the best out of him and the other players, to get the blends right, so we can do some damage to teams.
That's the manager's job, to keep everyone happy and keep everyone on their toes to play the best. That's his job, realistically, because these footballers don't need that much training and strategy sort of meetings. He just needs a good vibe at the club, training ground, all that. And then you'll get the best out of these players, bro. And it's truly was good, bro. I've heard some fans just going on about that topic there, and I'm like, yo, give it a rest, man.
About what topic? Is it bad to even bring up?
Yeah, I just like, it was just that topic there, bro. It's just the way some fans were talking about it, man. It just made me disrespect for a lot of fans. And I was like, yo, give it a rest, man.
Well, I'm excited for him to come back. I'm excited to see what we're going to do with his presence. I'm excited if he's wanting to. I don't really question to think that Salah doesn't want to put in the work. I know he's one of the first at the gym and the last to leave type situations, you know. So I'm not questioning the fact that he's going to make a commitment to this team. I know that he does love Liverpool, and he understands how Liverpool has given him the platform to be the immense, presence on the global front as he is. But I would like to see him making a real presence be felt by, slotting right in. A lot of people have talked about Wirtz and his contributions and the likes, and you'll notice that a lot of those contributions really stemmed up from Salah not being on the pitch, and now I'm not saying that the two can't play with each other, play well on the pitch with each other. I am saying, if anything, just as JK just stated, now is an opportunity that Arnie, I almost said Jurgen, Arnie has to. I only wish, but Arnie has to wish, or Arnie has to figure out how to make the most of Salah and Wirtz together.
Yeah, and that's the thing, bro. Look, Wirtz has got the ball more since Salah's not been playing.
Mm-hmm.
So what they need to do, they need to realise that we've got two quality players. Give them both the ball. If it ain't working for the one, give the other one. Whatever. Use your brains a bit. You know what I mean? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real test of to where we go and what we see happen.
But I also agree with what Jimmy's saying. Like, at the end of the day, our defence looks a bit solider recently than it has been all season, even though we're leaking in goals still. Attack, not the greatest, but we're scoring goals, but not a lot. The midfielders that's the main important part. That needs to click for sure.
Right.
Especially against Marseille, it's going to be loud. You know what I mean?
It's going to be loud. Do you want to see? Do you think that Salah should be? If Salah is available for Marseille, should he be? Should he start?
I'll put him on the bench. Give him 20, 25 minutes if he wants it. Go on, lad. You know what I mean? Salah, man, one of my favourite players. He's in the business. Him being selfish is the reason why he's broke all them records. You can't say anything else, man.
He's a guy who wasn't used to being dropped. I mean, it was a massive thing for him to be dropped from the team. You know what I mean? He's not used to it. Like, it's never happened to him since he's been at Liverpool. If he's fit, he's in the team. So you could see it from both sides, like him and the manager. That happens. Like, when teams are struggling, you get this sort of thing, don't you? But like what Hilo said there, that he's put some of his faith in the link up between Wirtz and Ekitike, because them two are on each other's level, as we've seen with that goal against Barnsley, the way Hugo did that backflip through the guy's legs straight into his path. Them two linking up, I'm looking forward to over the next couple of months. Just hope they stay fit, touch wood, with all the others that still got fit. Frimpong's coming in doing good now, and he looking dangerous, and Kerkez has improved as well. So they're the bright spots for us anyway. We've just got to get the rest of the team around them performing to a good enough standard. And Bournemouth away after Marseille. I mean, Bournemouth have lost Semenyo now, yeah, but they used to losing players. I mean, look, they had a really good start to the season. We beat them on the opening day, and then they went on a good run, didn't they? They fell off now, but they're still a dangerous opponent, and we're away as well, aren't we? So that's going to be a tough one, but we desperately need 3 points. That's one of the main things that disappointed me about the Burnley result, is that we could have been 5 points behind City and Villa with a win there, just 5 points. Really blew a good chance to get closer there.
I can, yeah. Would you start him? Would you start Salah
against Marseille?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if he's available, yes. Start him with Hugo and maybe I play Wirtz instead of Gakpo as the other attacker and still pack the midfield out with 3. Yeah, I will play him actually, yeah. Why not?
So you start him. If you start him, what would be your lineup with him in it?
I'd go for Arne
Slot. Front three, I guess.
Well, I say Wirtz, so we can have instead of having Gakpo and Wirtz, and then just 2 midfielders, I'll say Wirtz as the other on the left, and then 3 in midfield. Whoever you want in midfield is your 3. I don't think he will, though. He'll play Sobo, I reckon, in Mo's position against Marseille. And I think Mo will come off the bench if he's there. And if we can play, if he's there and he's fit, I think he'll come off the bench against Marseille rather than start. I think he'll go for the 4 in midfield again.
Okay. Well, there was something at Anfield that I thought was a unique situation. And to answer your question, yeah, Brighton is playing, I believe, Bournemouth today. But there was something that happened at Anfield that I thought was definitely telling. We're unbeaten. 4 draws, though. 4 straight draws in the Premier League. And at Anfield, at the end of the game, you heard boos. Maybe it's accountability. I certainly not entitlement. You're not. I mean, I know we all support this club, win, lose, or draw, but we also want to see real effort and performances out there as well. And 4 straight league draws for a reigning champion is not a statistical quirk. It's a pattern. Liverpool dominated Burnley in possession, chances, territory, everything. But dominance without precision is meaningless. It took an individual moment of brilliance from Wirtz, and we were up 1-0. And then all of a sudden, like that, it's knotted up. I don't believe Liverpool fans especially, we don't boo effort. There's times when, like, we've lost, even at my supporter pub, like, there's times where we lost and we still all, lock arms and sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the end of the game, even when we lose.
No, that's our thing usually. When boos ring around at Anfield, something's up. It's not something you hear very often at Anfield, even in our darkest moments. But people are fed up, aren't they? And they are entitled to boo because it's very expensive to go to the match these days.
It is.
And if I was the type who did boo, or wanted to boo, then I'd feel entitled to do so, paying that amount of money. As I say, it's not something you'd associate with us. You don't hear that very, very often at Anfield, boos, but I think they were justified. And they were aimed at Arne, I think, rather than the team. Sadly, it was mainly at Arne, the setup, the plan that didn't work.
Yeah. Do you think that the boos were fair, or were they too harsh, JK?
Understandable.
Understandable. Okay. Would you have booed as well?
No.
JK doesn't boo. I know it.
I
I
do.
knew that was the case. Yeah, Arne Slot has to understand something fundamentally. At Liverpool, the standard is not good process. It's winning football, plain and simple. We understand that there are going to be games that we end up getting beat by better teams on that day. But we will not tolerate effort that is stagnant. We will not tolerate performances that are lackluster, that are boring, that show no passion, no intensity, no urgency. I think we as fans have already recognized we'll tolerate transition. We understand there was for a lot of us, transition was already a not to say welcome, but certainly attitude we had to adjust and understand, because the announcement of Jurgen Klopp leaving was an abrupt one. But we're not going to settle for complacency. And right now, the team feels stuck between transition and complacency. And that's a real struggle. That's a real struggle. And I mean, like, if you think I am being maybe too harsh, or maybe I'm not my normal positive Liverpool supporter, which I still believe I am. I'm very supportive of my Liverpool fans to have an open opinion. I'm very supportive of my team and players, certainly. But even Steven Gerrard is saying the same things I'm saying. And I want to be very clear. My criticism of Arne Slot is not reactionary. It's being shared by a living Liverpool legend. Steven Gerrard said on TNT Sports, that won't be acceptable. A draw with Burnley at home, with all due respect, is not acceptable. He also said, if you're being critical of Liverpool, the draws to Leeds and Burnley at home, that's not acceptable. And importantly, Slot deserves credit for steadying the ship, but top four has to be the minimum. And I think personally, silverware should be his only way of getting any type of relief.
Yeah.
Top four, him getting top four does not make me say, yes, we should go further with this coach. That does not say much in a league that is, for whatever reason, we are still fourth place in this league. With all the crap that we've gone through, for us to be fourth place is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw the line here and say Slot stabilize Liverpool from the horrific, what was it like? I think it was 8 losses out of 9 or something like that. I think the only game we won was the Frankfurt game or something like that, in between 8 losses.
Mm.
But he's managing results, not shaping a future, and that is not something I need to see from my coach. Plenty of other coaches could do that for us. That's what I call papering over the cracks.
Yeah. It's sad after what he did for us last season, but there's only so long you can go on gilding the lily of last season's historic 20th title win. Yes, it was brilliant. We all loved that stolen moment we shared with Arne at Anfield when we all, one by one as a fan base, hoisted the Premier League trophy aloft with them. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant. Oh, I love that. But, the sad truth of it is we haven't progressed and we're stagnating, and it's looking like he's had his chips, as the old saying goes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's done.
Yeah, but because I'm saying that, look, I don't see as so. I hear now more about the process from this coach, especially, than it is the progress from this coach. There's a difference between those two words. You can believe in the process, absolutely, but if you are trusting in the process but not getting any progress, then you are stuck between two rocks. I don't know if Gerard would have been tougher as a coach. I don't know if Gerard should be our interim coach. I'm not even advocating for Slot out. But what I am saying is he has to do better. And not only does he have to do better, I'm holding the entire team accountable. The players have to do better because this is on them. I know Virgil doesn't want to hear the boos, but I mean, if you don't want to hear the boos, play better. Your standards should not be, oh, well, we got to draw off Burnley, so hey, applaud our efforts. That shouldn't be the case at all.
Kann ich ein paar Punkte sagen?
As the person in the background, even I think might admit too, for JK.
I can count on the fingers of one hand the times I've been at Anfield and heard boos. It's very, very rare.
Mm-hmm. Look, it brings me to the statement, and it brings us to the statement that was made in a press conference. Talk about process, fantastic. You want to talk about progress, that's a different story. And why I'm bringing up the press conference was yesterday, people were talking about this Calvin Ramsey comment that Slot made. I hadn't heard I heard the highlights of the interview of the press conference. I didn't see the entire press conference. So after yesterday's show, I watched the entire press conference, kind of took my notes and made my own assessments. And I want to be very clear. I am not saying Calvin Ramsey is the future of Liverpool. I'm not saying that Calvin Ramsey is the best right back in the league or anything of that stature. But what I am saying is this. He is a viable right back option. And Arne Slot's refusal to seriously consider him says more about Slot than it does Ramsey at this point, in my opinion. It is a testament of why my opinion towards our coach's man management has severely taken a step back rather than a step forward. Right now, Slot is willing to weaken the midfield by playing maybe Dom or Curtis Jones at right back, because that's most likely what we'll see unless Frimpong plays that position himself. And that is troubling to me. That's not tactical bravery. That's more like managerial insecurity. If Ramsey trains well, understands the system, and is available, I believe he deserves a fair shot. Especially when the alternatives to the position are makeshift. And when I heard what he said, and I know that the chat had mentioned it yesterday, and when I heard it from his own lips yesterday, Slot saying publicly, I have better options. Might be honest. But in my opinion, it's poor man management. It's poor leadership. You protect your young players. You don't throw them under the bus like that. No, you don't say that in public and challenge them. You have to challenge them in private and keep that conversation as such. I think that Slot crossed the line with Ramsey. And I don't know if the panel agrees with me or not, but I think it was a very, very disrespectful what he did to Calvin Ramsey. I think that the lad has had a difficult stint with Liverpool. I understand he's been here for 4 years. I've heard some content creators try to make a whole point about, oh, well, he's been here for 4 years. If he was this or that, he would have been this or that. If he was this, or if he was so great, he would have already been in it. guess what? If he wasn't so great, we would have moved on from him. So calm that noise.
And that's what people don't understand. Like, a manager's job is to keep it fucking sweet. If you're calling out players, he's done it all his whole time here.
Yeah.
Picking on players, bro. Like, come on, man. You don't do that. Like, if I'm the manager of Liverpool, my main job is to keep everyone happy.
Exactly.
Okay? Even if it might piss them off in what I'm going to say to them sometimes, I'm not going to treat Chiesa in the way he would have gotten much more game time if I was boss. Because what happened with him, he got that energy to come on as sub, score goals, do something, and he was expecting game time then. And what happened? He didn't get it. Bro, he took his fire out of him. Every time he comes on a sub now, bro, he can't do nothing. That's the truth. Man management is important at Liverpool. It's probably the most important club in England about that. How the manager and the players get on. Simple. I don't care you're trying to build an image here. Don't do it here. I do it at Man United or Chelsea. You know what I mean? Everyone knows you're the boss. You're going to pick the team. Nothing else needs to be said. You won the league last season. So your image is already created.
Yeah, that's if you're going to go and if you're trying to make, everyone, respect your authority, like you're like you're Cartman from South Park. Hey, this is not the place for it. This is not for that at all.
God, that show was so funny when it first came out.
Everyone knows that you're the boss. No one questions that. No one questions that. But
look, bro, I was saying this, like, when you and Helio are moaning and not really supporting the manager as such, because I know you two guys are proper, don't really badmouth the club in any way and stuff, or the manager and that.
Sure.
So for you guys to do it now, it's something's not right.
No, that's why I brought up Steven Gerrard. Why would Steven Gerrard be? He's the most loyal patron to this club. He's a Liverpool legend. He's unlike some of the other legends, or not legends really, or some of the other pundits out there that are Liverpool that are trying to be, unbiased and this and that. Steven Gerrard does not try to hide it. He is a true Liverpoolian, and he loves Liverpool. And he's going to give it to you straight. He said, I saw him sit at a table and break down in an interview. It was a host and three others. I'm trying to think of the other two participants in it. I shared it with the chat. You probably remember better than I did, possibly. Do you remember? Or I shared with you guys. Do you remember which conversation I'm talking about? I think it was TNT conversation. It was like a round table, and he was a part, and Steven Gerrard was a part of it. And he was breaking down. This is when we were going through the problems of Mohamed Salah and other things that were going on, and it's difficult. It's very difficult. But he said it himself. He said it like, look, these things, you have to be held accountable. You can't just sit there and pretend as if everything's all well and good simply because we support you. I support efforts that I've been saying. That I want to see this coach win an FA Cup and win a Champions League. Guess what? If he does both, chances are, there's a high likelihood he'll remain as our coach. So me saying that I support him in his efforts and me supporting us is that I want to see Liverpool prosper, period. I don't care who's at our coach. But I want to see Liverpool prosper. But that also doesn't take away the fact that, look, throwing players under the bus the way you threw Kwanzaa under the bus, the way you've thrown, the way you threw Elliott under the bus somewhat by he's a Villa player. He's not a Villa player. He's on loan. Do you understand what that word means? That's
exactly, bro. He could have said, yeah, if Harvey can't get game time out, we can bring him back. He's family,
Exactly.
That logic in him. Exactly.
That's exactly my point.
The whole season I've seen.
I don't mind backing someone that's going to be backing our players that way. I'm 100% behind that. But as soon as you start throwing players under the bus simply
Yeah,
because
man,
you
that
don't want
ain't
to
a
take
good look.
accountability, no, I'm going to hold back and definitely be critical of you.
I lost
have
a bit of respect for Slot in the way he's handled Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott's just put his feet up a whole season where realistically he should be going for it now. This is his prime years now. Like, let you go, bro. You know? So he got him 3 Champions League goals last season in 3 games.
Yeah.
It ain't like, you know, what else have we got off the bench? Nothing. We've got nothing off the bench, bro.
Yeah. Against the one team
he's on the bench.
Against the one team that he Slot idolizes so much, Elliott's the only person that scored it on them in open play.
Yeah, but you know all that, PSG, blah, 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 and all that. We're Liverpool. We don't need no PSG model bullshit. I don't understand that talk. Like, PSG or PSG, who cares? They've won the first Champions League.
I'm not saying that we need to be like PSG.
No, I know you're not, but some people have been saying, look, Slot likes PSG and all that. I'm like, oh, God. How do you know?
He does talk about them quite a bit.
Yeah, he does that about everyone, bro.
He revels in like how they are structured now. This and I'm like,
what are you even saying it for? You're making yourself look stupid, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's focus on how we're structured.
Yeah. Simple.
You know what I mean? Let's work on our structure before we start like, oh man,
cheering for someone else.
Yeah, you know, throwing out accolades over some other team.
I don't like this idea that he wants us to be PSG because that's a different league. They're in a different league, mate. Yeah, we can play them in the Champions League, but League and the Premier League are very, very different competitions. So
yeah, I would honestly say that Liverpool would win the league. Liverpool would win the French league very easily. Even with this current state of the team right now, we would still probably be
dominate, mate. PSG wouldn't get their hands on one.
What do you reckon of that Turkish left back, right? For Brighton, bro, Konaté.
For who?
I tell you, I wouldn't mind him. I think he's a good little player, man.
He's a right back or a left back?
He plays left back, but he can play both, I think, yeah. But for me, he's a good little player. He cost about 30 million, though.
But is he left-footed or what?
Yeah, I think he's left-footed, yeah.
It's not many people, not everyone. I don't mind playing. Hey, I was talking to Lee earlier before the show about my accomplishment, by the way. You're talking to a quad winner, by the way, but I did have Robbo play right back for me in that little scenario every once in a while. So some of us don't mind if a left back or if a left-footed player plays right back or vice versa, if a right-footed player plays left back. Because Gomez, I think, does well when he plays right back sometimes, or left back for us, by the way. And he's right-footed. But some prefer left backs to be left-footed and right backs to be right-footed.
I like my wingers to be left-footed and my right wingers to be right-footed, bro. All this cutting in bullshit, I don't know.
Let's go back to 4-4-2. Wingers on the proper foots, on the proper side, getting to the byline.
Kepko was doing that though. The other games, I realised in the last 2 games he's played, he's sort of trying to get crosses in now. His gameplay sort of changed a little bit. He weren't cutting in like he normally does all the time. He was trying to make assists and trying to get something happening. So fair play to him, man. Gapco's done well for us since he's been with us. He got injured, hasn't been right since, for me, my opinion. But top lad.
Yeah. Boots on the right feet and everything. Yes, I want your right shoe to be on your right foot. Yes, right. How about that? Lone Sheep is saying what he gives Slot credit for last season was the fact that he didn't tinker too much. He made changes during games when needed. He didn't try to reinvent the wheel. This season is the opposite.
Yeah, because he's got cozy, ain't he? His feet are under the table now. He's trying to express himself more.
He's underestimated how difficult it'd be, I think, Arnie, after bringing in players and changing up the style a bit, and trying to move us on. He's probably underestimated a bit how hard it would be, and now he's finding that out. It remains to be seen what's going to happen with him. But I mean, apparently FSG are happy for now and he'll be here till the end of the season, but he's going to have to put in some effort to keep his job, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
How many content creators are going to create stories from now until the end of before the next season starts that FSG had a meetings with Alonso and this and that? Oh, bro, I've already read it all. Who makes this bullshit up? Yeah, maybe it's happened, but like, who can you trust now? It's like, if it happens, it happens. We all know about it. I don't want to hear about it from content creators.
Okay. Yeah. If you look at the starting lineup for this game against Bournemouth, he positioned that left back. But if you're watching the game, he's playing right wing. The guy is just super versatile. And
yeah, he's a good player, man.
Oh, he's talking about you're talking about the same player?
Yeah, the Turkish lad. Yeah.
He's saying he can use both feet. Okay. Brighton left back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Left back. All right. I'll take a look at him. I haven't watched many Brighton games other than the games that we were.
No, I've watched him a few times just to see how he's getting on that.
Well, we'll be seeing it soon enough in the FA Cup, won't we? They stand between us and getting to the next round of the Cup, which is probably our best hope of a trophy this season. I just hope we've got it in us to get the best of Brighton and advance to the next round, in which I hope we draw a lower level team that are still in the competition.
Big up to Ottoman Turk, by the way. Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you, yeah.
It's a case. I don't know. I'm hopeful of what can happen. I'm hopeful for what can happen. But we're at the 2-hour mark, people. It's crazy how time flies sometimes. Got some rants of my own, but I'm not going to. I decided not to include them in this episode. So I will let the panel give their final thoughts before we close. So before we close, I want I'll give you the floor to give your final takeaway from this week.
Another wasted 2 points, bro. When you calculate all the points we've dropped, 8 points, we'll be right behind everyone. And that's the thing, we're on that line.
Yeah. If you were to take the points, oh man.
One of the best things we can cling to is the continuing acclimatization of Florian Wirtz to
that's a good point.
To our team and to the Premier League. But getting back into Europe against Marseille, I think there'd be a good chance of having a good performance from him because he'll have a bit more room, I think, playing away in Europe because they'll definitely be wanting to attack us, like seeing the form with it, and hopefully that'll give us some space to, to counter them, to play in, some space that we can play in, like, and create something ourselves. I'm reasonably optimistic about this game. I think we can get a result. And by that I mean a win. I think we could get it. It'd be hard, like the Inter game, but I think we can do it. If we could do it at Inter, we can do it here. Difference against Inter in the end, Wirtz was the difference, wasn't he? Like, because there was no need for Bastoni to grab it to pull him back, mate. He just shouldn't have done it. He had no one to blame but himself when the ref pointed to the spot.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Wirtz, man.
I was just gonna say, like, it hurts because if this unbeaten streak, if you change this unbeaten streak to a win streak,
we'd be sound.
We not only would be sound, we'd be even on points with Arsenal right now.
There you go. So that extra bit of 25% energy we needed from our players, they didn't bring it to the table, bro.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just contemplate that. These are all games that we should have won. If we had done what we needed to do, played well, I mean, yes, gotten a win at Arsenal would have been, at the Emirates would have been a difficult grab, but still all the same. You mix into the mix us changing this unbeaten streak to a win streak in the Premier League. We would have been equal on points, not on. We would have been still in second place in goal differential, but we would have been equal on points. Arsenal, and we're having a completely different conversation right now.
Yeah. But that for me could be the new players settling in. Took time, all that shebang. A lot of people leaving as well. It ain't just like we just got 4 new players and we kept the same squad from last season. Nah, man. Last season's squad nearly evaporated, gone. A lot of players. McQueenwood. Yeah, hopefully Liverpool players know he's an ex-United player. So hopefully they'll take care of him.
Hopefully they'll do.
And it's true what Peter says. Champions beat newly promoted teams. Spot on, man. Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say to the chat before we bounce out here?
If booing is far too lenient, maybe the crowd could bring rotten fruit next week.
No.
It's just an idea. A bit of rotten fruit, like maybe a few bits of rotten meat.
This is not
the dugout where Arnie's sitting is like covered in bits of rotten fruit and rotten meat, stinking the place up like he is with his tactics.
No, I think what it is.
I went a bit far. Then that was too much.
Like Arne Slot knows that we don't need to on social media boo him and this, that, and the other, because at the end of the day, he knows himself we're champions, and he's not. I don't know what it is, bro. Do you reckon he got too arrogant that he won the season last season, and he's like come in like he's the man, and like trying to show people he's the boss and that. I feel that's been his problem, man. And that changeover from look Frimpong. I'll give you the perfect example. Actually, Frimpong and Robertson. Robertson was a steam engine. He used to run at 1,000 miles per hour each game. Slot comes in, tells him, "Hold your horses. I don't want you to cross the halfway line, and I want you to play in first, second gear." Robertson couldn't find his feet for a whole year. He's only got used to it now recently, and still he's not like he used to be. Frimpong running like a madman, and Slot's probably telling him, "No, I don't want you to do that, bro." And what happens? He gets 2 hamstring injuries. That's the facts.
I wouldn't say for me isn't like overly arrogant, Arnie, but you could forgive the man for being maybe a little bit overconfident, because not many managers walk into the Premier League and win it in their first season. I mean, Arsene Wenger didn't manage that. Alex Ferguson didn't manage that. Just a couple have come in like Mourinho and won it straight away. So you could forgive him for being a little bit overconfident, but I don't think he's like overtly arrogant, like, and dismissive of other people's opinions. I think he's got his coaching staff and that with him, hasn't he? But I don't know. He's just not good enough. Basically, he's been found out, hasn't he? Like talent wise. And we thought he was something, and he isn't. We thought he was going to be the answer for like a number of years, but it hasn't turned out that way, and it's looking like we're going to have to roll the dice again.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that was a grueling final thought. What do you want to leave as your final thought, JK?
Yeah, I just want to bless up the chat as always, bro. Top lads. It's the second last game of the Champions League. Nice to get a win now. Then got Karabag, and then maybe we can play a few guys, put them on the bench, Van Dijk and all these type of players. So if we it's important we get a win in the bigger picture, so we can rest players against Karabag at home at Anfield. So then we got Bournemouth at the weekend, bro. Games are coming all the time.
They're going to come fast and furious, and
we need Champions League. Yeah, they're coming fast and furious.
It's higher competition now.
Well, we're looking at the Karabag game as a banker, but it could potentially be a game that could lose him his job if we were to lose at home to them. Imagine that, and beat at Anfield by Karabag. That might force them to drop the guillotine.
Karabag come out and perform against other teams, though. They have come out and performed.
No, for me, bro, teams like Karabag. Come on, come on. Even Marseille, yeah, they're all right, but it's going to be hostile there. So I think we sort of handle that sort of environment pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Hostiles at Arsenal Stadium, San Siro, when we were there with Inter. Yeah. Frankfurt, when we were there, they're hostile as well. So be good to get us a win.
Yeah, if you can't win at home to Burnley, there are no bankers.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
For me, Burnley was a 3-0. I was like, prediction before the game, 3-0.
I went for the 2-1. I wanted to be circumspect in my predictions and not ask too much, but 2-1 was too much in the end.
I did say I wanted to see 2-0, but I was obviously not given that. Halftime team talk must be a snooze fest, maybe so.
It seems like that this season, Peter, because last season used to be halftime team talk, bang, get the job done, second half.
Yeah.
This season is the other way around. First half, okay. Second half, really bad. You know what I mean?
Yep. Really, really poor. And it's like sometimes even worse than the first.
If you remember, my prediction was 2-1 and our goals were going to be a penalty and an own goal for us. And then Dom got that penalty early. I thought, this might come through.
Yeah, we got to make the most of it. We got to definitely make the most of it. Let's be honest. Like, a lot of what we're seeing from this team is not what we predicted. A lot of us didn't predict this at all. I'm not saying that we can't rebound in any way or shape or form. We can. We have talented players, very talented players. But it's going to take a lot for them to not only recognize their own worth, but it's got to come together completely. They've got to come together as a team. All right, people. Well, this season isn't done, but it's certainly a wounded beast currently for us. But Salah is back. That's positive. Wirtz is flying high. That's positive. Our defense remains certainly one of our Achilles heels, but January has to matter. Decisions have to be bold, obviously, by this team, and results have to follow. Plain and simple. You don't want to hear the boos. Perform better. Honestly, get a win. Get the wins, that foremost. But perform better is what we're looking for. There's nothing about the performances that we're seeing that I'm saying, oh, well, we perform like no other. No, if anything, I'm saying the opposite. And that's why we have to make the most of it. So we'll be here every step of the way. That's for certain. We are loyal Liverpool fans one way or another. We'd like to hear your contributions in the chat. Obviously, the panel we all have our own opinions. We've been certainly critical of certain players and coaches or management more so than other points of the seasons previous. But this is just passion, people. That's all it is. It's not a testament of us turning our backs on this team ever. We'll never turn our backs on this team. If anything, we just demand more. So with that said, I hope that you join us in giving your thoughts. Put them in the comments. We appreciate each and every one of them. I'll ask you this. This is a question you can maybe answer. What is Liverpool's biggest problem right now? Is it the defense? Is it the coaching? Is it the administration? Is it the finishing? Is it the recruitment? Tell us what it is. What's your biggest concern? And if we can, what is the solution to that concern? That is the key. We're not here hard work, dedication. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Hard work, dedication, each and every time. Hard work, dedication. All right. With that, we're going to bid adieu. We appreciate you, and we will see you all tomorrow. Take care, and up the Reds each and every time, people. Up the Reds.